Good morning, world. It's Friday morning here in the US, here on the East Coast, Maine. It's a beautiful day out there, and I hope to get outside and play a little bit. But before I can do that, I wanted to talk about another act of bravery that I've experienced in my life. And this one was one that was 15 years ago. Yep, 15 years ago. And I had always had a dream from when I was fourth or fifth grade to write a book. And I've showed you this book before. This was my first collection of stories called Glow, Renew Your Spirit and Release Your Inner Beauty. And there are, I think, 30 some odd stories in this book. Each has a little lesson. And I was really excited to be able to self-publish this book. And then, so I just had this vision of what I wanted to do. I had researched book publishers. Print on demand was not the same back then. But what I had to do was, because I was having a book manufacturer print 1,100 copies of this book, I needed to come up with a lot of cash. I think I needed around $3,500, $3,600. Jerry and I, we managed to put that money aside. We managed to save it. So we had it in a savings account so that when I was ready, yes, we can publish this book. We can print this book. My goal was to have it printed, to have it published officially May 1st of 2003. That was my 40th birthday. And the date was significant to me. And then in January, I was finalizing the inside manuscript. I was having people review it, do some proofreading for me. And I was almost at the point where I was ready to send it off to the printer. And along with that, I needed that big check for $3,500. And Jerry came home from work one day and he said, yeah, I'm getting laid off. Huh? What? He was the primary breadwinner in the family. And to come home and to tell me, at the time we had the typical debt that many Americans have. Let me close my window. They're mowing the lawn out there. Maybe that will help a little bit. I don't know if you could hear it, but it was distracting me. So he came home, losing the significant source of our income. He probably earned 60% of the income and I was 40%. So we're dropping down to an unemployment check, which was probably 40% of what I was making. So of course, my immediate thought, well, not immediate thought after that panic, that feeling of panic and oh my gosh, how will we survive? Then I started thinking about my dream, my book. Well, I couldn't spend $3,500 to print a book when we might need that money to pay our mortgage, to buy groceries, the little inconsequential things in life. And I was really disappointed. I did not see a way to make this dream come true unless he got another well-paying job, lickety-split. And that wasn't happening. And I was approaching that deadline when I wouldn't be able to have the time to get this book printed and still meet that May 1st publishing deadline. I was at work one night. I worked a night shift. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was talking with a friend of mine and I said, what would you think if I were to ask people to buy copies of my book before it was printed and pay for it and then use that money to pay for the printing costs? And she said, I think that's brilliant. I'll buy 5 copies. And that was the start of me asking people that I knew and loved for a little bit of help. So what I did, I have show and tell here today. So what I did was I created a postcard size thing. This is like half a sheet of paper. And this is not the cover that I ended up using. I would have loved to have used this, but I couldn't replicate it. This, I think, was done in PowerPoint or Word or something. But I sent this to everyone that was on my my Christmas card list. I sent it to neighbors. I sent it to friends, gave it to coworkers. And I wrote, "A dream is about to come true, but I need your help." My first book, a collection of short stories that will pick you up when life gets you down, is ready to go to the printer. I've chosen 33 of my favorite stories that foster self-acceptance, development, and respect, and compiled them into one book. 36 people have read and reviewed these stories to make sure that they are meaningful, well-written, and interesting to read. I've established my own publishing company, and I actually called it My Own Publishing Company, but I spelled it M-I-O-N-E. Developed a marketing plan, and saved thousands and thousands of pennies. I selected May 1st, 2003, my 40th birthday, as the publication date. I thought it would be a great way to celebrate another decade of life. I was ready to send the manuscript to the book printer when the unexpected happened. Dun, dun, dun! And then you have to turn the card over to get the rest of the story. And that's where I need your help. At the end of January, Jerry was laid off from his job. Now, this is a good thing for our family because Jerry had been unhappy at his job for several years. We're excited about the new opportunities he will be free to explore. Financially, we are okay, but I didn't feel it was appropriate to spend thousands of dollars on getting my book printed when we may need that money in the coming months. My dream of publishing my book came to a screeching halt. But then I had an idea. If I could pre-sell enough copies to cover the printing costs, my dream could become a reality without jeopardizing my family's financial situation. So I am asking you to purchase a copy of my book before the end of February 2003. If I sell enough copies by then, I should have time to get the book printed and delivered by May 1st. These stories will help you renew your spirit and release even more of your inner beauty. These stories will help you glow. This investment in your personal growth and my dream is $13.95. Please see the enclosed order form for instructions on how you can buy your copy today. And so then I included a couple of stories and an order form that they could use. Now, I had a couple of other items that I had created. I had written a collection of poems that I compiled into a little booklet called Soggy Kisses and Sleepless Nights, The Joys of Motherhood. And these are just some fun things that I came up with when my children were just babies and toddlers. And so I put this on the order form. And I also had a CD that I had created called Reflections of a Recovering Ugly Duckling. Notice this Reflections of a Recovering Ugly Duckling theme has stuck with me. And these are some of the stories from the book in the earlier formats. And so I offered these two things in addition to the book to give people something else that they could purchase. It was really difficult asking for help. I have so much pride, and this was not something that, growing up, you didn't ask for help. You figured it out on your own. If you couldn't pay for it yourself, you didn't get it. So taking this chance, and you have to understand, I was a totally different person back then as well. I was more quiet. I was just beginning my Toastmasters journey. I'd been in the organization for a few years by then, but still reaching out and asking for help was very difficult. But I had a choice. I could either put my pride on the back burner, have a little courage, have a little faith in people. And I think that was my biggest problem. I think here I'm getting into my thought position like the thinker. I think that I didn't have faith in the people that I loved. I didn't have faith in the people that were a big part of my life. And I'll be honest, some of the people that I expected to step up and help out didn't. And I don't know, and I never asked. It wasn't one of those things that mattered. I never asked what was going on in their life that they couldn't, um, you know, give $14 to help someone's dream come true. But we all have our times when money is so tight that we can't. Or sometimes we think, you know what, that's really not going to happen. So rather than her having to send the money back to me because she fails, and I think that's what I thought, is people thought I would fail. But then other people stepped up and they ordered 5 copies, they ordered 10 copies. And that was amazing. Now, I don't know if those copies are still sitting in someone's, in their home, in a bookshelf, and have never been given out. But I do know that some people bought extra copies and they gave them to people that they loved. They gave them as gifts. And that was exciting for me because all of these copies that were pre-ordered were also signed. So that was something special. That was something I offered on the order form, is if you want a book as a gift, please tell me who to write it out to. So it was, where's my book? So it really was an act of bravery for me to do this. And to put those letters in the mail, to spend the money on all the postage stamps and put them in the mail, and then have to wait and wait and wait. And the first order that I received back was from my aunt and uncle who lived in Texas. So I was in Massachusetts at the time. Nope, I was here in Maine. I was here in Maine. And so to think that I had letters that were sent locally, and then one sent to Texas, and the one from Texas is the first one that came back. But that started things rolling. And I did get enough money to self-publish this book, to print this book. And the copies were out, and they were delivered to people before May 1st of 2003. So I share this story with you. If you have a dream and things are falling apart, and you're not quite sure if you can make it come true, it may be the universe's way of saying, ask for help. Because the rest of the story for this is, I really didn't know what to do with these books once I had them. Once I had printed them and I filled the orders for people that had purchased it, I made a few more sales here and there, but basically I didn't know what to do with these books. So if I had paid that $3,500 all on my own, some of those books probably still would have been sitting in my parents' garage, because I thought I had a marketing plan, but it's so much harder and it takes so much courage to get out there in the world and try to sell something you've created. Even if you believe in it 100%, it's, what will people say? What will people think? Who am I to be doing something like this? So if you have a dream, trust that some people will help you. It may not be the people you expect, but there's going to be someone out there that will believe in you. Think of all of the crowdfunding options that we have now. I don't remember the name of the site. It'll come to me. But there's one where if you have an idea, if you want to make a movie, if you want to publish a book, if you want to create a record album, there are so many ways. A friend of mine used crowdfunding several years ago. His sister had Lou Gehrig's disease, and she needed a wheelchair, or she needed an elevator put into her home so that she could move between the levels because she was in a wheelchair. Through crowdfunding, they were able to get this elevator installed into their home. People are out there to help you make your dreams come true. You just have to ask. Know what it is you want, have your plan in place, and there are people that will support your dreams. This was something that I learned 15 years ago, and it's something that I truly believe in, and I have helped support other people's dreams because mine wouldn't have come true without other people there. So, getting a little thick there, a little deep. If you have a dream, it's worth making it come true. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I will see you again on Monday.